Good day, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Instructional System Design Management and Leadership Certificate, Campus Graduate Certificate Information Session. Today, I'm Travis Giffen, the Director of Online Programs. With us, we have several others from the College of Education, including Sangeetha, Brianna, and Gina are in the chat to help answer some questions. And then we have Professor from the Department of Education, David Hong, here with us today to talk about the program. While we are getting started, let me share my slides. You all notice that you've been muted upon entry. You can unmute yourself when it comes time to questions and answers at the end, but we ask that you raise your hand using the emoji icon or emote, and we should be able to call on you to be able to ask your questions. Of course, you can ask questions throughout the presentation in the chat as we go along, and we'll be able to answer those as we continue. While we have some time and get things going, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat for us all so that we can know a little bit about you. And then we also have a question that we'll have throughout the presentation to just kind of find out how you learned about the information session today. If you could give us that feedback, that would be great. With that said, I'm going to turn things over to Sangeetha, who's going to talk briefly about the Campus Graduate Certificate.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sangeetha Gopalakrishnan, and I'm the Director of Online Programs here at the College of Education. Welcome to you all. We're so happy that you joined us today to learn a little bit more about the Campus Graduate Certificate. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the certificate in general. So it is an educational offering that has been recently established here at the University of Illinois. So we are very excited that we have some offerings at the College of Education, and then specifically, we're happy to share information about this ISDML certificate with you. So the Campus Graduate Certificate, or CERT, is a graduate level certificate, meaning that you need to have completed a bachelor's degree before you can do this. It is transcriptable or transcribable, meaning that the courses will appear on your transcript, and the CERT name will also show up on your transcript. These courses, or the course credits, can be stacked towards a master's degree, an appropriate master's degree. Students are eligible for financial aid. And in terms of eligibility, this program is available only to students who are currently not enrolled in a degree program. So if you're already in a degree program, you won't be able to do it right now, but perhaps at a later time. Next slide, please, Travis. So how do you apply for this? So we'll talk a little bit about this later as well, but here's the URL for applying for this certificate. Another commonly asked question is, how much does it cost? So in general, the cost is $500 per credit hour. So it's simply a matter of calculating how many credits there are and then multiplying that by 500. The fees are the same for resident and non-resident students. And yes, the CERT shows up on your official transcript. So that's some very quick general information about the CERT, but we can talk more about that later in our session too. So I guess it's David now.
Thank you for the introduction and the opening, Travis and Sangeetha. Hello, everybody. My name is David Huang. I'm a faculty member in the concentration of Human Resource Development, HRD, in the Department of Education Policy, Organization, and Leadership. I'm currently a full professor with research and teaching and service obligations. On behalf of my colleagues in the concentration of HRD, I want to thank you for spending the time today, allowing me to introduce the newly hot off press graduate certificate, CERT, with the emphasis on instructional system design, management, and leadership, ISDML. Before I begin to go into the CERT, the CERT program itself, I'd like to very quickly talk about what HRD is from the perspective of the Department of EPOL at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. There are 4 major scholarly as well as practice areas associated with the concentration of human resource development. The first area is training and development. I think that's the most relatable area of HRD to perhaps many of you in the audience today. It is about learning and development. It is about training and development. It is about creating learning and development solutions for various organizations. And this is probably also the most relatable to the CERT in instructional system design, management, leadership. In our concentration later, when I talk about my colleagues, we are the only concentration graduate level, not just in the college education, but the entire University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. We're the only concentration with faculty that come with formal training and background in instructional system design. So that's the first area of HRD. The second area of HRD is organization development, also known as change management. The big picture of the OD, organization development, is about facilitating organization level change with efficiency, with meaningful results that tailor to everybody in the organization. That's a very high level abstract of OD. In OD area, you can see people practicing such expertise in the role of change management facilitator, specialist, or expert in organizational learning. The third area of HRD deals with adult and professional education, and by extension, we also cover the career development, career management aspects of our working life. The fourth area, also relevant to the CERT, CERT, is the learning technology aspect when they are applied to enrich and enhance learning and development solutions situated in the perspective HRD. So as you can see, HRD covers a very broad range of topics when it comes to promoting meaningful and effective experience in the workplace. We are very proud of taking that perspective, especially from the perspective of individuals. So if you talk to other scholars, practitioners in HRD, I think one analogy I like the best. So if you're trying to describe what HRD is to those who don't know or who have not been exposed to HRD. So HRD is about the processes and procedures and programs to identify the balance point among people, work, and organization. If you see as a triangle and trying to reach a very delicate balance among those 3 points, people, individuals, work, jobs, and the third point would be organizations. Trying to reach that balance, that's what HRD is all about. And we can easily plug in all those four aforementioned areas into the relationship among those 3 points. So that's HRD. Also, is my way of adding the HRD perspective to the ISDML CERT. At least in the United States, I would say a lot of the programs focusing on instructional system design or learning design probably are not focusing enough on the organizational aspect of the entire process. So if you create a learning and development solution for your clients or for your supervisors, I would say 99.9% such solution needs to be implemented into an organizational context. And I think this certificate will provide perspective in addition to training on instructional system design, learning technologies, the perspectives about how to facilitate change, how to manage the change process, and how to identify the efficacy of the learning development solutions from the perspective of program evaluation. So that's a very quick summary about the coursework in this ISDML CERT, situated again from the scholarship and the practices of HRD. And we are one of many concentrations in the Department of EPOL. Just a little bit more background information. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this is a list of my colleagues in the concentration. Dr. Flesher, Dr. Rubeck, they are teaching courses in HRD for us. Have been a while. And I'm the third person on the list. I teach courses on learning technologies, project management principles, program evaluations, innovations in e-learning, and some research methodology courses. Professor Kwong and Professor Macaran, they are newly hired faculty to the concentration. They will start in August, and they also be teaching courses required for this particular graduate level certificate. Professor Lee is specialized in organization development. She's also currently the Associate Dean of Research in the College of Education at UIUC. Professor Grace Oh, usually she would teach instructional system design, e-learning design introduction, and program evaluation as well. So this is the list of faculty and the expertise students can tap into regarding the coursework of this particular ISDML CERT. Next slide, please. There are a couple of points I want to make in terms of the conceptualization of this particular program. First, we would like to differentiate this program from our peer institutions when it comes to instructional or instructional system design. We would like to add perspectives or opportunities for students to develop their KSA, their knowledge, their skills, their abilities in facilitating changes from the perspective implementing learning development solutions into different organizations, and the perspective understanding the impact of such learning and development solutions. One course we will deliver through the certificate will be the program evaluation. Through a very systematic approach, we can identify the strength and weakness of the solutions based on the stakeholders' needs and systematic, rigorous data collection processes. So I would like to suggest perhaps those two aspects, change management / change facilitation, and the program outcome validation through evaluation. Those are two perspectives that this certificate will provide in addition to the instructional system design aspects of the coursework. For those of you who are new to the field of instructional system design, ISD, it is a very exciting field of professional engagement or career. In the past 2 years, we're seeing a surge of employment in job opportunities regarding instructional system designers, learning technologists, because so many organizations are trying to shift their training, their learning and development activities from face-to-face to online environments. We are seeing the forecast of the field to be strong when it comes to employment opportunities, given the understanding or the growing understanding of the need for trained instructional system designers and learning technologists in various workplace contexts. Plus, again, the management, the evaluation part of coursework, we are very, again, excited about the program coming to realization, starting the recruitment actually a couple of weeks ago. The learning outcomes of program, including the list on the slide, the overall outcome will cover the KSA, the knowledge, the skills, the abilities of creating learning solutions with the enhancement of the technologies or not, depends on the need of the stakeholders. More importantly, to understand the implementation opportunities and challenges of implementing the learning solutions into different organizations. How to get buy-in, how to coordinate, how to collaborate with different stakeholders in the organization. And the next category will be understanding the impact of the learning and development solutions upon the implementation of those learning and development solutions with technology or not. Management is important for this particular CERT to cover allocation of resources, management of the teamwork. Those will be covered in the coursework as well. Again, this certificate, if you compare it to programs in our peer institution, I don't think I should name names because it is recorded. If you're familiar with the Big Ten universities, there are many wonderful programs, and I graduated from one. I graduated from Purdue University. I would like to say this particular program will provide additional perspectives when it comes to instructional system design and management in order to, again, facilitate the intended change related to the practice HRD in many places. Do I have another slide? Should I cover that, or?
I can cover it, or you can cover it.
So maybe I can mention the courses we'll be offering in the fall related to the ISDML. I think that will be, thank you very much. So there are three categories within the CERT, ISDML. The first category is the EPOL 472 plus EPOL 483. Those two courses have been offered many, many times and have been proven effective in developing participants' KSA in the field of instructional system design and the integration of learning technologies for enhanced learning outcome. So that's the first category. We're going to offer both courses in the fall. They'll be online, 8 weeks per course and back-to-back. That's the first category. Second category will be EPOL 476, project management principles and applications, or EPO 485, Introduction to E-Learning. We will be offering EPO 476 in the fall. The third category is EPO 570, Organization Development, or ERAM 556, which is Program Evaluation. I'm sure we will be offering ERAM 556 in the fall as well. At least we're going to offer 4 courses, which is the minimum requirement for the CERT in the fall. However, we usually will recommend students upon admission to the program to take 2 courses, no more than 2, in the first semester. The workload is not light. And a lot of energy. I would suggest highly for those of you who might be new to graduate level training at a research intensive university. So 2 courses, I think back to back would be most ideal if you are ready to start the coursework. If any question about the coursework, the course structure, I believe the rest of the time we'll be able to address those. And I'll stop here and Travis, thank you.
So just really quickly, as David was saying, courses are 8 weeks long. They're all 4 credit hours a piece. So there's part of term A or term A and a term B for each semester. Most classes do have a weekly synchronous session, usually weekday evenings, 2 to 2.5 hours, and asynchronous assignments during the week. Attendance is usually expected, but that is sometimes dependent with the professor. You should be sure to reach out to your professor or your teaching assistant if you're going to miss a class. As Sangeeta mentioned earlier, cost this fall is $500 per credit hour. There's no fees for online students, regardless of location, but tuition is subject to change. For full-time students for financial aid purposes, it's 6 hours, so that would be 2 classes a semester because classes are 4 hours a piece. For other purposes, full-time student status is 12 hours per semester. Admissions are through the graduate college application. Admissions to a CERT program follow the same protocols as admissions to other graduate programs. So the application process is very similar to those if you, for example, have already taken a master's program or a bachelor's program here at the university. Deadline is for admission to the campus graduate certificates. The first one coming up if you want to get started in fall term A is July 15th. So be sure to apply now at choose.illinois.edu/apply. And I will get that posted here into the chat as we go into questions. Feel free to type your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself to ask the question.
So don't feel shy. Chances are the questions you have, others have too. And maybe it's always difficult to be the first one to start with a question. So you can put it in the chat too.
So we did have a question that came in here. Do you have to meet any previous degree requirements to take these courses? So for admission into the campus graduate certificates, you need to have a bachelor's degree.
I can take Sasha's question. The credits that you earn from a CERT program can be applied towards a master's program or a PhD program, depending on the program you choose. David, do you want to answer Tim's question?
Sure, let me look at it. About the career options. The job market for instructional designers, learning technologists, or specialists in learning system design, what we have been seeing in the past 3 years, starting in 2020, has been strong, at least in the United States. So if you're new to the field in instructional system design, job title would be instructional designers. That's the most commonly seen in many job-related websites. Learning system designers. I would say the opportunities to get your foot in the door are plenty. Given the training students receive from U of I would say our graduate from HRD degree seeking programs or from our non-degree seeking programs, I would say they're happy about the training they received and they're able to move forward. Some of them are new to the field of instructional system design. Some of them are looking for a transition in terms of moving from perhaps an entry-level position to a middle-level management position. I would say this certificate in particular will put students in a very good position in terms of managing instructional design teams, learning and development team. Those kind of opportunities will be also relevant. So overall, I think the job market is strong when it comes to the field relevant to instructional system design in the United States. I cannot say for overseas markets.
One question that we've gotten in another session that might be good to ask would be, David, how would you see the campus graduate certificate stacking into the HRD master's program?
The stackability of the CERT course credits, I think, is a very attractive feature of this program. University of Illinois just started to create those programs not too long ago. I think from the prospective students, you can count, for instance, if you finish the coursework for 16 credit hours, as Sankita mentioned earlier, you can list that the particular CERT on your transcript. People will see it. You can also use the credits for your degree seeking programs upon admission. So EDM in our college requires 32 credit hours, which will be 8 courses. So let's just say someone who finished the ISDML CERT and apply for the admission to the master's program in HRD. So basically, if admitted, the student has already completed half of the master's coursework. So 4 more courses, usually 2 semesters, and the student will receive the master's credential given graduate level acceptance of the grades and the course performance. Did I miss the second part of the question?
No, I don't think so. We did get another question on if there is a cap for the number of people for the campus graduate certificate.
We actually talked about this last week with the department leadership. And right now, we don't have a cap on the enrollment, but I would like to say that the application review process will be in place. All the application will be reviewed by the faculty, EPOL. There is no cap on the enrollment at this point.
Thank you all for the questions so far. I don't think we've missed any questions, but if we have, don't be afraid to either ask it again so that we can get to that. But if you think of questions afterwards or after the session, you can reach us at gradservices@education.illinois.edu, and we're happy to answer those questions and follow up with you. We got a question, is there a PhD in ISD? Did you want to answer that, David?
Yes. Within the concentration HRD, at the PhD level, if you're thinking about the dissertation, it really depends on what your research interests are in alignment with your advisor's expertise and availability. There is no concentration in instructional design at this point, but my understanding is there's gonna be one soon. But I don't want you to wait for too long. My response to your question is, I have advised at least 2 PhD students doing research on instructional design processes for their PhD dissertations. So if students are interested in improving the instructional system design processes, which I'm very interested in working in as well as my research, I would say, why not? But the concentration right now, you will not have a instructional system design as a concentration name. But again, we might have one soon. So don't wait.
Yeah, especially because for the, well, I think for the EDD applications are only once a year. I think that's the case too for PhD, but I could be wrong.
Yes, PhD also, the admission is once a year. So for those of you who are new to the graduate level education UBI, The financial aid eligibility is another feature that university didn't have before, especially with this short sequence of coursework. Just something for you to consider.
Yeah, and as Gina shared, if you have questions about financial aid, you can contact University of Illinois Student Financial Aid directly at 217-333-0100 or at finaid@illinois.edu for questions that you may have related to financial aid. Give everybody a last call for questions before we wrap things up and give people back their time. I want to again thank everybody for coming to the ISDML Campus Graduate Certificate Information Session. We're excited to have this program and are excited that all of you have shown interest and came to the session today and asked some good questions.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you all. With that, we'll call it a wrap. The recording and these slides will be sent out to everyone after the presentation. Have a great day.